Hello everyone and welcome back to another VOD review. We're pumping these bad boys out, getting up to date with all the matches that happened this weekend. So we've got the meme one of the Hangzhou Spark and the Shanghai Dragons out of the way. Let's do, in my opinion, what was the best match, other than maybe the Seoul Derby, of the weekend. The best match that definitely happened in the West, and it's the San Francisco Shock going up against the Toronto Defiant. San Francisco Shock are trying to beat off the rumors that they're not going to live up to their expectation, and they no longer have the excuse of visas. They're now using the excuse of limited practice, which is fair, but they're having some issues so far. Toronto Defiant, on the other hand, just trying to enjoy their time in the league and really prove that they have what it takes to compete at the highest level. Some good signs from both, and this is a great match, so let's just get into it. Wait, that's the wrong button. Let's get into it. Proper is washed. Whoa. Oh. First of all, how dare you, okay? That should be a bannable offense. Never mind, Proper's on Soldier. I hate it. So, Toronto comes out on the Rhine Brawl versus the San Francisco Shock playing the Junker Queen Torb Soldier. I think the Junker Queen Torb Soldier, this is a comp that's been played a bunch. This is a comp that's been played by a lot of teams, and it seems like it's built to deal with the Winston style. So I think Shock thought Toronto was going to come out playing this like Winston dive, end up going back and playing the Ramatra Brawl to match it. What's up with the Soldier picks? I think Soldier's quite good against the dive because you have that like consistent damage that you can like throw out from range, you can put out a ton of pressure, you can put out a ton of work. So, like, it's a lot more survivable than playing, like, a Cassidy and that kind of stuff. And you can just sort of run away. Personally, I prefer the Hanzo. I think the Hanzo has consistent damage, and that's sort of why he's playing in this setup. But Toronto gets first cap because they did play the Reinhardt. Now, Shock's kind of just, like, waiting. Ultraviolet gets up to the window first, which should get them an advantage, but feels bad. Good wall to catch off that lamp, but just too much damage from Kalush. They're going to commit, though, with Symmetra wall. How did Vindheim die? How did Vindheim die? Like, that's a... Oh, looks like you just kind of got caught in the open there, trying to cross. I mean, it cause problems, but I'm willing to do so in a responsible manner. Hey, I respect it. Committing the Annihilation as well. Wow, good beat. That was a great timing of the beat by OG. If Shock lose this fight, it's so bad for them. All right. Vindheim uses the beat after. It kind of feels like Toronto are giving up. And then Vindheim uses the beat. Like, I think if you're Toronto, you're like, oh, they use beat and dragon. We just go. And Junmin just, like, massively over commits off of this. This is something that I want to bring up. Junmin has not impressed me at all. And that sounds toxic now, but so far, this has been his biggest issue. I actually think his mechanics, but he is not on the same page as the rest of San Francisco Shock. Watch throughout this series, he does it multiple times where he just like goes way further than the rest of the team, and he's not getting backed up. The other major thing that I think you need to keep an eye on for the Shock that I think is causing them issues is Finn Vindheim. I don't know if it happened as much in this series or if it was in the other series that they played in the weekend, but like Finn Vindheim were just really struggling to stay alive.
Control of the Defiant. What a long drawn-out fight, getting a lot of resources out of the pockets of the Shock in terms of the sound barrier.
I always remember the line from the Plat Chat hater, Junbin is a feeder, and I might agree, dude. Maybe that person was cooking. I want to see them drop this window earlier than they did last time. Like, Finns goes down. Oh, Sam gets fucking popped through a window. Oh, good shatter. I feel like Toronto could have gone with that window earlier and like given themselves a potential like advantage earlier in the fight, but they kind of like waited around and they sort of gave Proper the opportunity to just kill everybody. Custa's gonna summon Avril telepathically to bring the cope. Dude, we did Plat Chat today. I still cannot believe how much copium we're getting from... Oh my god, good kill by Hydron. How much copium we're still getting from Avril and Avast. They still heavily believe in the San Francisco Shock. I'm losing faith. And here's the thing, and I think this is an important thing to keep in mind. I'm losing faith in the fact that I don't think San Francisco Shock is going to be the best team in the West. I don't think they're going to be the best team in the West. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they'll be around 4 or 5 at least across all metas. But I'm not certain that this roster is going to win the Overwatch League right now. And that's what, that's what a lot of people were selling, right? Like at the start of the year. Obviously, we're 2 matches into the season. And there's still a lot of things that can change. And maybe once the crusty crack pipe gets put down a little bit, as Avast was saying, it can come together. And these rookies will start playing better. But I'm losing belief by the minute.
Their approach to that first point, but they were just able to run away with things in terms of the value.
Can't wait for San Francisco Shock fans to come. Hey, if I'm going to piss off Dallas fans, I may as well piss off Shock fans as well. Also, that pick by Toronto just kind of opens everything up, and they end up closing that one out.
Such a huge pick for that final fight. So good. Those sight lines. It's all about the sight lines here on Antarctic Peninsula. And so it was possible we would see something like a double sniper composition coming out there from the Defiant, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
All right, so now we get the Toronto Defiant with the Lucio Moira. Also, we're not going to watch this one. Can we talk about how funny it was watching Izzyaki walk off the map in the Boston match? Like, that might have been one of the worst rounds I've seen a team play on Control. Like, that was a terrible round of Control for Boston. And it was just, like, the stupidest shit ever. Like, players just get one shot. Izzyaki walked off the map. It was, oh, man, it was so funny. It was such a funny, like, round.
We're going to see the somber choice here come out from Hydron.
They literally had the least practice of any other team. Okay, but that's not true. Shock have been scrimming for a long time, right? Like, yeah, they're not in person and they're still having housing issues and that kind of stuff. That's fine, right? But, like, you can't just, like... I feel like Shock just have so many excuses. And if they were losing, like, super close matches to the top teams, but I don't know. I feel like it's that there's a lot of copium going around for the Shock, which might come true. But as I said, I'm just not sold yet. So we get the Junker Queen from the Shock, and this is where they wanted to play the Junker Queen, right? They want to play this Junker Queen setup versus this Winston style, and we saw multiple teams play it. I think Gladiators played it to success against Toronto Defiant as well. Who are the other teams who played the Junker Queen versus the Winston and it worked? Someone else did it. Oh, wow. OG just got melted. OG had a hard weekend, honestly. OG struggled this weekend. Yeah, Glads did it, but someone else did it. I'm trying to remember who else did it. I can't remember. Maybe it was in the Soul Derby. I can't remember. But yeah. Yeah, I think Toronto need a switch. I don't think this composition does well against this Shock composition. Like, I think Shock composition just, like, straight up counter-strats this. Like, yeah, like, Shock were probably scrimming in the APAC region, right? Like, and that they were almost certainly scrimming, right? Like, yeah, they might not have as much effective and quality practice, but that's how most people practice and scrim, right? Hardy on boss. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'll remember at some point. Oh, Kaluge just gets forced to nano. It was a good nade. Good nade and good EMP. Yeah, wow. OG throughout was either overextended or getting hard dove only with only UV to help him. Yeah, which that's kind of how it has to work. But like OG and UV just, especially against Gladiators, it was very apparent that like felt like they weren't as prepared. And I don't know if that's like the rest. They need Toronto team to like provide some pressure off of them, or they need something to change up. But yeah, I think OG definitely struggled, and that I don't know if that's specifically just on OG or if there are other factors in going. It's hard to see from just like one perspective, right? To like really put the pieces together. That's why I miss the replay viewer, right? Like I wish I could see things from their perspective and see if like where the mistakes are happening. Still all the Genji. Genji's pretty good against certain things where it's like it doesn't feel like you're gonna get value from Tracer, right? Like especially against like Kiriko and shit like that. Oh my god, look at that nade. Oh, was that a... No, that was the Rampage, right? Yeah. It's a good Rampage. Hits 4. Yeah, that was a huge rampage by Junbin.
Coming in, actually, rather than jumping, gonna be able to get that anti with the shove here too. Defiant losing out on Sam and Ultraviolet. I was looking on the other side here as Ultraviolet gets taken down.
Dude, Lee J Gasm, dude, that moment when Boston beat fucking London was like, that was the first like major definition of raid boss brig we've ever seen in our lives. Like that was such a wild, that map should have been over. Late touch by Toronto, straight into the EMP. There's not much you can really do against that. Great EMP by Heesang. I've actually liked Heesang Sombra. Like, I think it's actually been quite good. Like, I like this look of, like, the Tracer Sombra with proper Heesang.
That second round, but what an ult with the rampage to take all of the Defiant out, get that anti.
Heesang played Sombra in contenders? Yeah, I think Heesang, like, we knew Heesang was going to have a pretty good Sombra.
It's just an ace right there. That's the proper. We have all expected to come.
Are you surprised Toronto has bad dive coordination? I don't think they have bad dive coordination. Like, I think they're fine, right? I just don't think it's their comfort. Like, I don't think a Sombra... I don't think a Sombra Tracer meta is, like, their comfort at all. Like, Speedily is their Tracer player, but he's not known for his Tracer. None of their players are known for their Sombra. Kaluge isn't known for his Winston. I think there's just a lot of things about this meta that Toronto Defiant can be competitive and they can play it, but they're definitely not in their element. Right?
Making the change up now. Sang being on the May. Sam gonna match that.
Like that's one of the things that makes like the Houston Outlaws so strong right now, right? Is that a lot of their players are in their element and in their best best heroes in composition, right? It's what makes Atlanta so strong. Like they have the best Sombra player in a Sombra meta. So I have Boston above them in a dive meta, and I think that's fair, right? But I'm just, you know, I'm the resident Boston non-believer. So oh, Vidna. I don't really like this Ryan Rush. Like I even this Ramatra Reinhardt that we're seeing here. I think this is the type of stuff that's gonna slowly fade out of the meta. Is like I think you're better off just playing Winston Tracer Sombra. Like I think Winston Tracer Sombra, you're more likely to find net value across the thing, because like I just don't think these comps are that good. So it definitely feels good for Winston. Yeah, like it feels like Reinhardt or Ramatra just kind of get caught on the floor here. Have they said our balance will work without? What do you mean? Oh, like all the things. I believe that the season is planned around the balance patches, because we know exactly when these balance patches are coming, like especially the major ones between seasons. I think the Overwatch League season is planned around that. Oh wow, that's a proper kills Hydron to stagger it out a little bit more. Like, is this stage all this patch? Yes. I don't know if it goes all the way to mid-season though. I'm not sure exactly, or if there's going to be a mid-season patch. The patch hits before the mid-season madness. I don't know if someone else has the answer to that. Toronto needs to commit to Speed or Sam full time. Well, the thing is, Speed's their Tracer player, Sam's their May player. I don't think Sam would be in if they were planning on playing Tracer. But I think Sam's in because they weren't planning on playing Tracer and they playing the Reinhardt and the May, etc. See, this year we don't get a Grand Finals patch. I would expect a Grand Finals patch. Oh, wow. Good pin by Galuge gets Junbin. Heesang goes down. Yo, look at this May battle on the high ground. As they're left clicking at each other. Look at these two. Bzzz. Sam confirmed better left click aim on the May. Oh, dude, Hydron, in my opinion, has been the best player for the Defiant so far this year. Hydron went crazy, especially against the Gladiators. Like some of his plays were like the primary reason that they were even in that series. Hydron's been fucking, yeah. Hydron off Sombra, yeah. Like I think his Sombra's okay, but I think he's definitely just better when he plays Hitscan, right? Take was colder than my ice cream. Hey, I wouldn't say it was a hot take. I said it's just a take. Scrabble's it actually in here just to fuck around and cause chaos. I respect it. Oh, Hydron gets Heesang again. Oh, they can't. You can't lose the point like that. If you're playing a Ryan Rush, if you're playing a Ryan Brawl comp, your biggest strength is that it is impossible to displace your team, right? If you have control of the point, you cannot lose the cap. Like, losing this cap, like, this would be such a good fight for them if they could touch. Because if they touch, then because they've killed Hisang as well, Truck probably needs to disengage, but they probably won't. They're probably going to try and win the fight, which then means you're getting the ticking. Now you lose the cap, like, like, I understand the window was there, but... Oh, good boop coming out from Vindime. My concern for Toronto is this meta is half the season. I think that absolutely could be a problem of, like, as I said, the Winston meta isn't that good for Toronto, especially with the Sombra one, but it looks like that's probably going to be meta. Dude, like, this would be so good for Toronto. Like, if Toronto had held on to this point and went on to win this fight, they probably win this round, right? They probably just straight up win this round because they would have ticked up all the way to 99% and would have won the round. How do you feel about Vindame? I think Vindame was very impressive for the Seoul Dynasty last year. I think he's a great player, very talented player. He has not played well on the San Francisco Shock. He's been struggling on the San Francisco Shock so far. He's saying gets Hydron. Yeah, too much damage. Oh, look, L. Ultraviolet. I don't think that's enough to turn it. That was a huge double kill. Did they win this? I don't remember who wins this round. Oh, Hydron. No, Himdron. Okay, he gets Finn. Wow. Dude, they lost the cap again, so they don't win the round just off of it. Oh my god, dude, that was so huge by Ultraviolet. Wins the 1v1 versus Proper, and then... Dude, if Shock lose this map, that is all because Proper just egoed Ultraviolet. Shock has no Toby. Are you talking about for coaching? Oh yeah, that is 100% worth it. As soon as Proper dropped, he's like, oh yeah, licking his lips. There goes the point again. Jimin Annihilation doesn't get a lot. Ah, Shock get it. Dude, Defiant, man. If they just didn't drop the point. Like, obviously it's easier to say in hindsight and just like watch this and be like, yeah, just stay on the point. There's a lot of factors why they're off, but like it is a big problem of like they won way more fights in the San Francisco Shock in that round, but it just felt like Shock had control of the point. OG died with B. I assume he got it last second, right? Yeah, he was frozen when he died, right? So he just got caught by that blizzard. If he gets it, right? Like, he gets that off, it's probably a different fight. So unlucky, yeah. I feel like kill Proper is always a good choice. Yeah, if that strategy is ever one that you can take in the Overwatch League, I think you should take it.
Double flex support meta, whether it's going to be coming in from like the Ana, the Zenyatta, the Kiriko, any of those heroes going in combination together, you're really looking at that just being able to enable the DPS a little bit further, basically kind of glass cannon in a little bit of a way.
Do you think it's possible Toronto mainly were prepping against Shock and weren't expecting Glads to be as good as they were? No, I don't like. When you're scrimming, you don't prepare for just one team, especially going into the season, right? Like, how do you prepare for the San Francisco Shock when you probably have no idea what they're going to play, right? You just prepare, especially this early on in the season, like you just prepare generally and you just think, what am I good at? What do we think they're going to play? What do we want to play if we think they play this, right? Like you're more practicing against certain comps, what you want to play and what you're going to play against, but it's impossible to prepare for a team, right? I think they probably expected the San Francisco Shock Dive to be more effective than the Gladiators one, but I don't think that was true, right? Especially when you have like Junbin playing like a lot of pretty much everything that isn't Winston. Junbin is trying his best to play anything that isn't Winston, and I don't really understand why. Oh wow, that could have been a headshot. I don't really understand why Junbin doesn't want to play any Winston, right? Like the choices that he goes for aren't bad, but it just feels like they're doing everything they can to avoid that composition. Maybe they just did poorly with it in scrims.
To also make the quick swap ups after seeing what Defiant was bringing to the table here too. Very quick to make that adaptation. You can see proper
Fresh Derp, it's gonna be okay.
Kalush, who's trying to take a different angle.
He's saying get speedily off the bat.
Forces him out, and Speedly is the first one taken down. He's saying they gotta look over to the side. He's right here ready.
Yeah, at this point, you got to worry about that Rapida because that shield bash is still going to stunt your movement ability, which may give enough.
Might be because playing Winston on this map is hard. Yeah, and like here's the thing, like I understand why they don't want to play it here and there and in certain situations and stuff like that, right? Like D.Va's good on this map, right? And we're seeing a lot of different teams play it, but if that's the case and you're like, oh well, this map's better for D.Va, why don't they play Max? Right? Like it seems like they prefer to play Junbin on the D.Va, which doesn't really make sense to me. So like I just don't really understand the dynamic of what's going on here with the San Francisco Shock.
Jumpin, as the nano boost comes in, Jumpin gets immediately put to sleep. Comes the dragons coming in as well. Speedly's gonna have that sticky bomb ready. Kalu's gonna get demeched immediately afterwards. He's saying is a problem that needs to be checked right now, and the Shock are gonna be able to get this payload move.
Yeah, as soon as it gets unlocked, you're going to see an immediate step forward from the rest of the front line of the Shock to be able to...
Atlanta Rain played D.Va on this map, yeah, and I think this is a good D.Va map because I think it's not as like high ground orientated where you like need to like jump long distances, close distance, and that kind of stuff. I think defense matrix in general is pretty good. And I think a lot of people have agreed that D.Va is quite good on this map. So
Away into that health pack room, so they had to make that rotation around. It bought a lot of time for the Shock to be able to get this payload moving, and now they have a lot to be able to follow that up.
I love the meta of like having their cameras so low, so you just see their forehead.
He's coming for you.
I didn't watch A-Bag games and Flare to do that bad. He wasn't great.
Ready to single out Finn, and he doesn't get the stick. Kaluj also gets hacked after Hisa made the swap.
Flutter is now a boomer in Overwatch League age. Yeah, if you're over 25, you're a boomer in the Overwatch League.
Proper now, trying to check Defiant
Flutter is meta. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but Flutter is indeed not meta.
attack here. Fighting this 1v1 between Proper though. He's got that support from Vindame over on the other side.
Yeah, so you saw
Oh, Speedily, don't get caught. Oh, that's the second time Speedily's been caught first in this map already. He's got to be careful. Proper's like really making life hard.
over to...
Whoa, that was a rushed.
We're not going to see...
Oh wow, they had to nano Hydron because he lost his translocator. It's good communication, but not great, right?
Hydron, Nano Boost,
OG rallied as well.
be online as quickly as
This is a lot of ultimates by Toronto for not really much. That was kind of like a hold-on moment.
gonna be able to try to get up to the high ground just in case. EMP at the ready. They were able
Gotta be careful about canceling MPs. I think he goes for it. Oh, nice follow. That was a good dive onto the Heesang.
to because now they won't have the EMP for this fight.
Toronto doesn't have an A-tier tracer. Yeah, well, like Speedily's trying to become that, right? And that's sort of the narrative, especially for Toronto this season, of like Speedily is trying to become the guy, right, on tracer. But it's hard when you're trying to become that guy on tracer and you're going up against Kevster and Proper, right? Like this weekend, Speedily's making his debut, trying to prove that he can be the best tracer in the world, and literally went against the two best tracers in the world. So I think you got to give him a little bit of slack, but he definitely did not live up to the hope that we had for him. Why is Team USA just Toronto? Because Toronto has the best US players. And Super, I guess.
Oh, here comes
I don't really like that EMP. That kind of felt like they forced that one.
the impact pivot that they're looking for. Jumpin goes
They EMP, but it was almost going to be impossible for there to be follow-up.
now coming in on top of Proper. He is
Literally just proper go kill. That was literally a proper go kill moment of like EMP was bad. Don't care, didn't ask.
gonna be able to find Kalu's
Just nano the tracer.
Shocker gonna be able to clear out this.
Speed is D tier tracer. No, I don't want to say Speedily is a D tier tracer because then he'll become overpowered and Toronto Defiant fans will never forgive me.
Especially after, as you called out, the EMP maybe not being as high impact as Shock would have wanted.
Would you prefer Hydron or Sam for hit scan? Hydron or Sam? Dude, Sam's not even in the conversation for hit scan.
Out there, like
It's 100% Hydron.
remake there from the Diva and of course the Nano. And now Proper has a lot of
Sam's a flex DPS.
bomb ready to go again.
You do another Tracer Tealers in the future? Hell no. I did one time and that thing still haunts me to this day.
To push this payload forward. This is the hardest point for the attack to get through when it comes down to the defensive.
He'll need a decent amount of time. Honestly, his trace is good. Like, I think I think Speedily is a good tracer. I think he definitely is serviceable for this Toronto team. But it definitely isn't the point where he's able to compete with the Proppers and Kevses. Like, he can compete, right? But it's like, I don't think he has anywhere near that kind of impact.
Heason got away just in time. Not gonna have that impact either here from the Defy that maybe they wanted to keep holding shock here. Comes the rally activated as Proper is just trying to continuously harass this.
Speedily gets Finn. That's a big pick.
Finn, though, finding that impact with the pulse bomb.
Wait, that was a lot of ultimates that I didn't really notice anything happen. When did this EMP go down?
Crazy right now. I like the disengage from Proper right there after Kaluj got.
There's the EMP.
Comes the EMP.
Didn't really get anything. There's no real follow-up to the Hydron EMP.
Not gonna have that impact either here from the Defy that maybe they wanted to keep holding shock here. Comes the rally activated as Proper is just trying to continuously harass this backline. Speedly finds Finn though, finding that impact with the pulse bomb. Defiant are gonna be able to hold back the shock a little bit in that next corner as right now Proper is gonna take a quick nap. Gonna be able to try to get away just in time. The hack coming in as well on top of Vindame. And the rest of the shock are gonna go for the
I don't see what Sam's role is in this team. Almost every flex hero you play Speedily. For hitscan you play Hydron. I guess that is there for the double flex. It's like, I think it's if like Genji or like Hanzo becomes meta and like he's like the Mei player and stuff like that. Like Speedily's kind of like primarily the Tracer player and the Echo player for this team, while Hydron's kind of like he's like the Sombre hitscan Tracer like Phil. Personally, I think Hydron should kind of be a mainstay on this team. Like, he should always be in, and then Speedily comes in when they expect to play a lot of Tracer, and Sam comes in if they want to play that, like, Brawl in the Mei. Like, I kind of like what they're doing with their roster right now and their setup. But we'll see. That's a big EMP by Hydron. That's a huge EMP by Hydron. Speed follows up as well and gets some. Speed gets Finn as well. Yeah, Speed's going kind of nutty in this right now. That's another big play by Speedily. Like, Speedily, like, that's the second team fight in a row that Speedily's taken down a support player and, like, won them the fight. They run Speed on Mei next map. I think, is that because... Actually, I can't even remember what map that is, so we'll see. Yeah, and that's it. That's true. Like, that's kind of what Sam did on the Shock last year, right? Like, they had the exact same setup of, like, Sam's role was kind of hard to, like, differentiate and find where he exactly fits in. I think it goes back into what we were talking about earlier, where it's kind of hard to be a flex DPS player who isn't really the go-to Tracer player as well, in the same way that, like, Proper and stuff like that is. Like, it's hard to find a spot on teams, so... I think if you're a flex DPS player, you should really be working to make sure you have a top tier Tracer, because I think you need one of them. Honestly, I think if you're a DPS player, you should just know how to play Tracer in general. Like, if you can add a Tracer to your warehouse, you become, like, infinitely more value as both a hit scan and a flex DPS player.
Getting ready as the rally gets Pop of Vindame. Overtime ticking away. He's just still trying to call out Ultraviolet, but he hasn't been able to nail him down.
Junbin on the Doomfist.
Gets activated from OG. He's still trying to split some of that pressure.
Okay.
And that attention over to the other
Hydron's getting up to an EMP.
Wait.
Where did he die? Did he stick? Oh, Hydron. It looks like he sucked the Ana, but he stuck Hydron who TP'd. Okay. I was kind of confused what happened there. Big EMP. OG goes down, but gets Vindime. Finn dropping the window. Why is Finn on BAP? When did Finn go to BAP? Why did he go BAP? Why would you go BAP into this? And this is the kind of stuff that I don't really get. Like, I don't really, like, I feel like Shock just sort of has this, where, like, their players just, like, Junbin and, like, Finn does this a little bit as well, where they just kind of, like, pick heroes. And I don't really understand why. Like, why would you go Baptiste if you're playing Diva, Tracer, Hanzo? Bap only makes sense to survive more. Bap does, in my opinion, doesn't survive more against these kind of dives. Hey, Custa, first time chatter. Have you and Jaws casted a match yet? I haven't heard the Dio yet. Yeah, we casted the Soul Bowl and a couple of matches on Sunday. Maybe for Imo against Sombra. Imo's not that good against Sombra, in my opinion. Because most of the time, like, if you get dove, you're gonna die in time, right? Like, I'd almost prefer the anti-nade, but I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't. They're just fed up dying to pulse. Yeah, maybe they just keep getting stuck and they're like, fuck it, I'll just lamp myself. Maybe jump to high ground to avoid field. But the problem is if you jump to high ground, the Diva kind of like follows you and you just kind of become very susceptible to death. Is Vindime ulted? He just ulted for the touch. I don't like bad with Diva. I just don't think anything about this comp really works well. And then Heeseng goes to Hanzo and now switches to Cassie for the last fight. Like, and this is sort of like a consistent thing that I haven't been sold with the Shock. Is like, it doesn't feel like they've worked out how they want to play just yet. It feels like they're a little all over the place. Honestly, Hydron's EMPs and Sombra has been good on this map so far. Like, he hasn't really been dying. He's been applying pressure. He's been getting the EMPs out. He's been doing it. He's been doing his job. Oh, don't get punched, yeah. Wouldn't Kiri Ana get more value than Bat Brig? I just think if you're going to play Brig, you just should... Like, I think Ana Brig is the best comp, and that's why people play it. I think the Nano Boost is probably the best ultimate. I think it's way better than Window. So, I don't know. It just feels weird and out of left field. Like, the Ana Kiri does work, and I actually like the Ana Kiri, and we're going to see it from the Shock, but, like, that's... They didn't do that, right? They went Brig Bat. Against the window is useless. Yeah, it's very difficult to find value with the window. People either run through it or they run away from it. He's saying they're gonna play the Hanzo. Toronto setting up for the dive. If you're gonna play this setup from Shock, this is the way that the Gladiators play. You need to be aggressors. You need to be the aggressors because if you give them time to get onto your backline, your Ana just kind of dies, right? I feel like they're playing incredibly defensively with the Kiriko. I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. Well, they're just going to kill Junbin, yeah. Like, that's actually a great recognition from the Toronto Defiant. They realize that the San Francisco Shock is playing ultra passive to keep their Ana alive, and everyone's rotating to keep their Ana alive. They're like, okay, we're just going to stand on the point and kill Junbin. Because if your Ana's literally just going to try and play hide and seek, we're just going to do that. Wow, Proper and Heesang might win them this fight, though. Wow, they had no right winning that fight. They had no right winning that fight. I do not have access to the replay viewer, obviously. And I hope I do, because I think one of my biggest issues when I do these VOD reviews is I don't want to have the casters too loud because then it just becomes very overwhelming to listen to. But then I also have to have the game sounds low, which means it's hard to work out what's really going on. Like, you can miss a lot of audio cues, so. That's a tangible. Speedily gets Vindime. Like, how? Oh, Kalush is dead. Get slept like that, you're in trouble, especially in front of a Hanzo. Good dragon, actually. They nanoed OG. Ultraviolet kills Heesang. Ultraviolet having big moments. But Proper is still finding kills. Not enough. I wish they added the scoreboard to the replay view. I hope they added like a scoreboard to like the... I wish the spectators could press tab. I would love it like halftime and after a map if the spectators just like held down tab. So that we can, like, everyone would be able to see the stats. Like, we don't need it for a long time. Just like 5 to 10 seconds so people can like look at it. Right? Like, I think that would be huge for the quality of the game. Just be able to like... So it doesn't feel like us as the casters are the ones who are having to like tell you what stats. are going on and stuff, or like, you know, have the stat screen.
So this is something that the Shock may not be expecting.
Oh, they see him. They saw him off to the other
Oh,
side.
nice cancel the hack.
Note that.
But Hydron is EMP. This is gonna be hard for Vindame. It does go back to the break. Oh,
Proper
Hy
trying to call him
Hy
out as he finds that 1v1.
didn't want to translocate. He had a translocator. You could see it. Just decided not to.
Proper's gonna just reset with the rest of the Shock.
I wonder if he thought Prop was gonna reload and he just meleeed him twice. There's a bit of a beef though.
Rotate over to the other side if they need to boot him off that high ground, Necro.
Just make the whichever stats Custa have access publicly available. Nah, that's never gonna work.
And now they're playing more spread out across this high ground.
We don't have like just like a website we use. It doesn't work like that.
So you're gonna see the Defiant start to come towards them, try to group them up a little bit, corral them into a corridor that Hydron could really.
Proper gets ultraviolet. Dude, Proper is the thing that's keeping the Shock team together right now.
Proper, and they just melt the floor with the rest of the Defiant. The Shock now not only saw right through Defiant.
Why did they put them on the screen during scrims? That's a workshop mode, but that's not what we use.
Yeah, I gotta see the replay of this.
And that stuff's impossible to read. Like, you don't want to put something like that on the. You would never put something like that on the screen for a main broadcast. That looks terrible.
So like a complete planned derailment here for the Defiant, and they have to go.
Yeah, Defiant need to like use ultimates. They're kind of picked right now.
Progress on the second point now.
But yeah, like, I think they need to come up with a solution. I think there are solutions, and I think like there are plenty of them, right? There are good ones and there are bad ones, but something should exist for the stats to be available to the public, right? I think they should have final blows to the scoreboard. No, I don't think final blows are an important stat. I think it's cool in Al and stuff like that, but if they add it to like the game scoreboard, people just use that stat to like matter. Like, final blows really don't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Some of that extra damage here. That Matrix speedily trying to take a different off angle, but somebody needs to take
Dude, Toronto's like doesn't want to commit ultimates. They're just like holding on to these 5 ultimates.
Up there. Like you could
Wow, they get heat saying. I don't know how that happens.
jump, then you're vulnerable because you have no.
No, they're gonna nano.
And the wrap around here from the Shock
Nano Proper. He will solve our problems.
now.
Proper has not let Ultraviolet go. Yes, we see the two pick the backline getting taken out from the Shock.
Jumpin dies without using Diva Bomb on.
Ultraviolet, the front line here from the Shock was falling apart. Here.
Yeah.
Literally when he tries to get away, Defiant clear him out, and they're gonna be able to clear out
Just press tab. You cannot press tab as a spectator.
Gosh, they almost got away with that.
You try spectating an Overwatch game, pressing tab doesn't work. You can only do that in an Overwatch game as a player. So if that... That's generally why it's not done. I'm sure if they could, we would probably do that and the spectators could. But that doesn't exist in the game. So Team 4 would have to enable that to be done by spectators in the game so that they could look at it so that it could be shown on broadcast, right? And that's why it's a bigger issue than just show the stats full head.
Really being able to put the damage down onto the team and a huge
Proper gets ultraviolet. Dude, Proper, how many final boys? Proper might be deadlifting right now.
Proper was able to isolate Ultraviolet, but while Proper is constantly on Ultraviolet's tail,
Cluj is doing so much work though. Holy shit. We didn't really see any of that, but how many kills did he just get? He got like 3 or 4 final blows. That was a big play by Cluj.
here as Proper's gonna have to reset too. The Defiant win another team fight.
Defiant are looking so strong right now to be able to close out this map, especially if Hydron's able to get this EMP online. There's a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock, and that should be plenty of time for Hydron and Speedily to be able to partner up their ultimates and get something done. Even if Speedily just opens something up here with the Pulse Bomb, that could be enough time for Hydron to get this EMP online and just finish the map here.
To be extremely important here too, especially seeing the swaps that we're seeing from the Shock.
Wow, nice pulse. Oh,
But nobody there to touch. AMP came in. Jumping
Map here.
to be extremely
I guess Junbin was probably the one expected to touch, and he's like, I'll touch. And then EMP goes out, so people can't last second bling. That's definitely a C9, but that's a forced C9. That's not an unforced error at all.
to that box of victory with nobody there. Are you kidding me? A C9's already. Necra, it's just the first series.
Okay, how many
All right, 1-1, baby. Toronto get that one. Toronto definitely looked better in that matchup. Like, yeah, I think they look better with the Diva. Kaluj being able to switch out Winston at the drop of a hat, right? So we're going to see Max as we go to Shambali Monastery.
Sad about the Toronto Defiant.
Ooh, the Shock are going in for close spawn. Oh, shit, I didn't realize Shock did a close spawn. I called this out in the Soul Derby that no one else has done this in the West, but I didn't realize Shock did this.
Getting started here, Necra, map number 3 after the performance we just saw in that last map. Defiant so
This map is atrocious. I think this is the... so I didn't watch the first two maps live. I had seen them. I'd like gone back and watched them. But I think this is the map I might not have seen, or I saw half of this map. It was so bad. Oh, God. Okay. Well, everyone buckle in for an interesting map then. Cluj gets proper. Okay. Okay. Kaluj just punching him in the jowl. The spawn hold is so bad. I feel like you just don't have an advantage. Like, in general, the maps that you do close spawn holds is the ones where going out the other doors just isn't valuable. But there's so many good doors to walk out of in that point that it's like, it's kind of hard to hold the doors because you just like leak out people and then people just like kill you. So I don't really understand that one. And now Max is playing Winston. Wait, why is Max playing? Whoa. Wait, whoa, wait, yo. They come out Winston, the expected composition, and then they put Max on a Winston?
Yeah, and at this point, we're going to see a big switch up here. It's no longer going to be that Lucio Ramatra brawl composition. It's going to be more of the dive. So we're going to see he's saying stick onto the Hanzo and, of course, proper on one of his signature heroes in the Tracer. But it really comes down to whether or not the synergy is there. And so that's why we bring that back up. Is there enough play time together to be able to make sure...
Hey, yo, no, let him cook, chat. Let him cook. That's why I said musical chat. Yeah, that's so weird. Like, we know that they've been doing this, guys. I just don't understand why Max would be coming into Winston. There's no way they think Max is a better Winston, right? There's no way. It just... But they have to expect that Toronto will probably going to play this Winston comp. Kambali has 2 words, so it's in. I'm not going to open that link. I just straight up. I'm not opening that link. Is it a coin flip link? I hovered over it and said coin flip. Is it a good bit bad link? Is it the coin flip thing on Google? Classic. It's like asking to download viruses, clicking that kind of thing. Or have a penis show up on my screen, you know? You never know. Wait, till they simply stop playing Winston here? They def had some APAC influence? Well, like, here's the thing. They can play the Junker Queen stuff. Like, they played the Junker Queen in the first map. Playing it against the Winston, it seemed like that was idea. You could play that on this map, 100%. But if so, then why isn't Junbin playing the Jungle Queen? Because isn't that why he was in? Like, it's just... That's the big confounding factor, right? Is that... Why is Mac in here to play Winston? Winston's not bad here. It's just why is Max here to do it? That was a pretty good primal, honestly. That was a really good primal. Yeah, Max is kind of owning. Let's just play Max everywhere. Let's just play Max, honestly. Isn't it much better to have one tank play everything? Yeah, and that was a lot of people's concerns of like, people like, oh, Max and Junbin are like insane. But it's like, yeah, but having 2 tanks switch out, especially when there's not like clearly defined roles, right? Like, I think it's a lot easier when you're like, oh, the main, like this guy will play all the main tanks, this guy will play all the off tanks, right? Obviously, there's a couple of heroes that sort of mix between both, and you can sort of like work that one out, but... I love Shock and Krusty, but seriously, if he didn't have the reputation he has, everyone would be screaming coaching issue, and I kind of agree. And I think that's fair, right? Like, it's like, if this was any other team that was trying to do this shit, we would be flaming them out of the gate, right? But... And that I guess is the value of, like, Krusty has done this shit before. But, like, this screams, like, 20... Oh, my God. Proper almost got a 5K. This screams... 2021 Shock, when they, like, sucked. and it just felt like they were trying too hard. It felt like things were going wrong in scrims, and they just tried too hard to fix it by like, let's let anybody play any role and see who's the best at it and go from there, right? Like, and it just didn't work. Like, they're at their best when you just like give players time to learn and experiment and improve, right? Rather than just sort of like moving players around.
It's gonna be another reset here for the Defiant.
Look how aggressive they're
Prime Star revoked SMH. All that for my take to be true. Damn, it's true.
The Shock were getting rolled over, but
I wonder how much losing Kasaurus hurt the Shock. That's a hard one to really say, right? You're like, how much influence did Kasaurus have on this team?
and Defiant just at this moment having a really hard time figuring out how they want
This will fix itself, IMO. All they need is some time. And I agree, right? And that's my thing. It will fix itself. They just need time. But that time doesn't work if you keep putting the wrong players in at the wrong time to try and fix it in the short term. Obviously, I have no
to this.
proof behind this, but it feels like they're trying to find a band-aid solution of how do we just win maps? Like, maybe we just play Max on this map, or maybe we just play Junbin. It doesn't feel like they're just like, shit, Junbin Winston isn't playing that well. Let's just keep giving him reps and see if he can improve, right? Like, it felt like if they were trying to give them time to improve, Junbin would be playing now, right?
Now we're down to 35 seconds and less than that here as Proper.
Also, Shock's kind of pounding right now. This is a hard spot to like get positioning. So I feel like Shock are just like, honestly, Max is playing fine on Winston. Like, as I said, if they just decided to commit to Max, I'd be down. Like, Max's Winston seems good. Proper's going crazy. They're diffing Toronto right now.
You know you have, and so Kalush is gonna have to try to get some sustain on the board.
At maybe they shouldn't. Finn Vendheim? Yeah, well, like, I think Finn Vendheim have gotten picked from time to time, but like,
But look at how aggressive Shock are playing.
where's Vendheim? Oh, bro. Finn is literally on an island.
Proper finds Ultraviolet at the
Bro, Sam and Speed are just like bullying Finn, and Vendheim's just like, sorry, bro, can't hear you, got my AirPods in.
boy. He can reset with the Primal. Max gonna pop the Primal here first. Speedly falling incredibly low here. Sam has that EMP like you mentioned. He was able to get it online for this.
Ultraviolet gets Heat as well. Okay. Okay.
Defiant roll in. They can definitely maintain not just their ults, but control this cart and now move it over. But they can't get off with overtime.
Where did Kasaurus go? Kasaurus is now the head coach of Toronto Defiant.
The cart, but they are able to play as a
Funnily enough.
especially playing around this EMP from Sam.
No, don't EMP him. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Shock.
I think he missed Proper, so he only hit the Winston. Oh, nice whip on a Proper.
Here they find Proper here too. Max having to back away. Finn was not in that line of sight too.
I don't know why Max Chase had Trace with Prime. It's not a bad play. It's definitely not ideal.
All the way forward. They got that extra time.
But if you can get the kill.
Second point. It was looking grim for them, but those minor adjustments that they needed to make.
Is that why a lot of last season Shock players are on Defiant? Not really.
Minor adjustments, but it was the focus on
Just, I would say, more a coincidence.
felt really opened up the doors here for the Defiant to get this cart over that second checkpoint. Finn is the main source of healing for the
We're gonna get one for gaming and general use. This is an SM7B, Shure SM7B, and I would recommend this this standing mic to absolutely anybody. I think it is the best quality product without having to like invest too much money. I don't know if you need a
on those big important
you might. I don't know if they make a USB version of this though. They might, but I use a Go XLR, so.
Immediately deleted by Sam.
Yeah, mine's an XLR. I don't know if you need a USB for the if they have USB. They don't have USB? Okay, well then keep that in mind if you're gonna buy it. It's an XLR mic.
Favorite here for the Defiant. Max gets hacked, but he was able to pop the Primal
It even works with that much cat hair on it, dude. It's an endless cycle to get cat hair off my mic.
right back in Necro. They have a plethora of ultimates
Toronto has so many ultimates.
for this.
Yeah, Cluj, he's doing a pretty good job of just staying alive, and Shock just used a lot of theirs.
that is Kalush and making sure that
To use AT2020 USB mic, I used to use that, didn't like it. I think it picks up way too much outside noise. But good EMP.
Oh, the EMP found the back line here. Huge here for Sam to be able to
It didn't feel like Shock were ready for that EMP at all. They were 100% not prepared for that EMP to come out.
He got put to sleep, so he couldn't find Finn, and nobody from the Shock is left to contest the point as Defiant are able to complete this run on the payload.
Defiant Defiant are looking very good right now. I think Shock were able to stabilize a little bit in that second point, but when Defiant were up against a wall, they brought out the Sam Sombra pick, and the EMP is just such a valuable ultimate to have to be able to shut down healing, shut down a lot of the tools in Ishiro's kit.
I doubted the Sam Sommer. It looked decent. It was okay. Like, I think Toronto did pretty well. Like, obviously, they got pretty hard stuck on the second point, but that's like, it's just a hard point to attack. And I think Shock were doing a good job, but yeah, honestly, just pretty back and forth. Finished with a 3 cap.
Yeah, what was cheeky too about that second point EMP was my eyes were on Vin Dane and the Suzu, especially since he didn't get caught in that EMP. Such a huge outcome there for the Shock that still didn't even work out in their favor there. So Defiant still able to clutch out that run.
Does this VOD include the desk? This year's desk goes hard. Love the production quality. I don't know if this VOD includes the desk. I think they usually cut out the desk just so it's like a seamless, but you can go to the larger broadcast. But the desk has been great. The desk has been great this year. You know, having a studio makes things a million times easier, and like you can see, it just makes the whole product better. So. This is the worst part as a Shock fan. This is attack was pain. Oh no. Oh no. I was gonna say Vinda. I don't know why Vindime's on Lucio. Absolutely play Bring on a map like this. You think Al is saved? I think Al is going in a positive direction, which is nice because we've been going in a negative direction for the last few years. But obviously going through a studio, all that type of stuff. And it just feels like, you know, we got drops, YouTube is better, everything's on 4K. It just feels like they fixed a lot of the issues that were like, I don't think they did a lot, and I don't think like, you know, to like make it better. They just fixed a lot of the little simple things of like having better drops, having 4K on YouTube. You know, I think the desk production quality is better, and I think, you know, having Esports Engine as like the producers has brought in some fresh blood, which is nice, and like they have their own style, and it's sort of like revamped everything a little bit. Yeah, why is Max playing Zarya? I don't hate it because this is kind of what we've talked about the San Francisco Shock, and this is probably why Max is in. Yeah, I agree. In theory, this makes sense. My problem is, how do you close this distance? Whoa. Like, why are they trying to walk up this left side? Why wouldn't you go down a different side? Like, wouldn't you be better to go down that choke and get charged and stuff like that? Why are they trying to cross the street? Like, go down the left side, teleport proper in, give him a bubble. Oh, God. Oh, nice play by Finn. Yeah, that's how the Zarya is supposed to work, right? Oh, shit. Dude, OG do be swinging. Yeah. This doesn't look great so far. Very much putting a lot of stock. Well, this is essentially the Dallas comp, right? This is kickoff clash Dallas style, where you like play this Zarya, you play Death Ball, and you just get to have a lot front loaded damage. I just don't know if it works against this. Like, it might. We haven't seen it work for like anyone playing this Zarya. People have said, oh, Vindime just ran through a dragon. You got Ultraviolet. Oh. I think you got a... Oh, good save. That was a great save. Was that... Honestly, OG's having a real... Like, OG is the crux of this team right now. OG's done a great job on this brig, right? He is just whipping things. He's swinging and he's staying alive. And, like, he must have so much fucking healing right now. Like, they haven't been able to deal with OG. Still no grab, yeah. Well, he just can't get energy and can't get close. They're probably going to win this fight if they just press all Qs. Like, this should be an impossible fight to lose. Yeah, the EMP Death Blossom to even get that. I think you just take that if you're at Toronto, right? You just die on the point. You're like, all right, we get another attack. But now they're going into a grab beat. But grab beat doesn't guarantee the fight win, right? Like, oh, that's a bad late death by Sam.
Now, and so the fact that you're at least able to hold on to the graviton surge as well as the sound barrier, that should be able to get you over the line. But is Kaluj?
You still get another good fight, yeah. It's just still, you're still in a good spot here. Kaluj getting hacked, trying to fly away was not good. Now you might just get grabbed. I don't even think they need this grab actually. Oh, yeet. Oh, that's a good grab. Holy shit. Wait. Whoa. Wait. Follow up? Hey, yo. No. Oh, God. Ray Boss Brig. Oh, no. Okay. No, they got this. They got EMP Death Blossom. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, okay. Never worried. All right. Yeah, we're good. That would have been a sad fight for Shock to lose. EMP was good, but yeah, they just literally didn't have the damage follow up for the grab.
One hurdle has cleared, the raid boss and the Nano Brigida has been slain, and now you've got to look at trying to get through the second objective. But
Consensus on Shock issues. Backline's been a little bit sussy lately, just having a lot of deaths, and they need to work out their tank situation of what they want to play.
Defiant start to struggle here, which was halfway through this second objective, but maybe with the momentum that Shock have after capturing
Sussy, yeah, sussy. You heard me.
through this point as well.
He's trying to check him.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't catch him. He's saying over to the side.
Good play. Like, don't EMP, right? Like, why would you EMP there? Like, if Toronto's going to play that far back just waiting for you, you just solo hack them. Then they come to help, then you EMP, right? We've seen that time and time again. I'd like to see Shock push their objective here. Like, you have the advantage. I would like to see them go more aggressive. If they just wait for Kalush to get back and touch the point, I'm going to be upset.
Also don't want to give Max more charge. Defiant need a reset onto the Zarya.
Bro, why did they just let Kalush come back?
So much damage.
They just, like, didn't... They're playing a Lucio against not a Lucio, killed the tank, and then just let them come back.
Blossom gets unleashed from Proper, does find Sam here.
Alright, it's fine. Proper exists.
After he sends out that pulse bomb, no TPS left for the Defiant as Kalush goes to the reset
Oh!
with the team.
Oh!
Finds Finn.
Oh! He got back in the mech?
Proper still unchecked right now. Is still harassing Kalush as he gets hacked. It's the double whammy before Heesang and Proper are able to get the rest of the
Wow. Okay. Well, they got that.
Defiant had a
That was probably a grab more than they wanted to use, but yeah.
the Shock side are able to get a lot cooking.
Absolutely. And now I'm eating what they're cooking.
Yeah, it's actually insane. Yeah, Proper's bailed them out a few times here already in this match.
Position like this. But now we're going to see a big switch up here from the Defiant as we enter into
Why do you keep calling tanks off tanks and main tanks? Because they still exist in that way.
and the May, a look that we saw already out of the Defiant from that very first map. But we do have Speedily picking up the May reins this time around. Maybe the Reinhardt will be enough though. You've got this big
That's a big EMP. I think you take that loss. You take that L. Oh, Sam gets max actually.
Time, the Immortality Fuel also was already called in, but then disabled out here too as the rally
Oh, Sam? Hanzo diff?
Heesang, but Proper and Max going down here.
Even after transfer, they still exist. Well, they still exist in the current state because there are off-tank and main tank players still. As much as there's only one tank player, there are still players who play certain roles.
Max, but not going to be a problem anymore because you're also going to be switching over to the Ramatra. So once again, we have this.
So you're right that there are only tanks, but when you're considering the tank roster and how who plays what, there are main tanks and off tanks.
Proficiency on this hero in the Pro-Am. So it's
Who's OG ulting? I think the OG rallied with the expectation that Sam wasn't going to kill two and that there was going to be a brawl there, which I don't think is a bad idea. I just think it definitely looks bad in hindsight.
He needs to back up as that Anti found that snipe over on the other
Not a great dragon. They were very ready for that coming.
up the shot, forcing the game to
This is an interesting switch by Toronto to go to the Reinhardt against the shot Max playing thing. I actually like the swaps that we're seeing coming through by these guys.
when they got that
Whoa.
here too. So the Nemesis from being called in as well. Heesang gonna be able to hold back. 30 seconds up on the clock here.
Oh, the dragon did a lot of damage. Oh, that forced lamp. That lamp might matter a lot.
especially when you do have the ability to get those
Oh. This is a close map.
Getting his ult so quick here too. Payload moving into that box of Victor. Defiant need to jump.
I'll probably get Sam.
Proper fight Sam over to the other side.
They're getting mailed. Oh, Max is going to be careful. He's going to get ulted.
Up on the platform. Blizzard to match that with the sound barrier for Finn Dane, but Max has that.
Oh, the shatter hits the... Was that an Ana? Oh, it hit Finn.
Pull the trigger on the ult. Now the
Clues, just live.
he said, "Can he be the
Just live.
Is still alive. Time is still ticking away.
Sam, I like the Genji swap. Ooh, nice.
Cleaning up the rest of the shock as Defiant are gonna be able to hold them back.
There you go. Good hold by Toronto Defiant. I think he played well. The switches were good there. The switches were good. I think the Zarya, like, you saw, like, the value of the Zarya that you can brawl, but I also think that, like, and that's what gives me hope for this Dallas Fuel squad, is, like, I think Dallas can play that better. And I think there is, you can make it work on certain points in certain maps.
To expect. I'm not gonna make a call there. I wasn't even brave enough to tell you my prediction at the beginning of the match. Which is why I pivoted.
I think Sam best Hanzo week 1.
It's hard. I mean, these teams are so good.
I want to say no, but I can't think of any other Hanzos off the top of my head that...
See a lot of these teams ending by the end of the season. Honestly, with Defiant and Shock,
A lot of people didn't play much Hanzo. I mean, Sam was pretty impactful on that Hanzo, I'll give him that. But,
especially seeing the synergy
I don't know.
both these teams have with one another.
Pelican? Did Pelican play Hanzo?
Teasing us with the Junker Queen. Not sure if it's gonna come out just yet here, but
Oh, MN3 had a good Hanzo, yeah. That's true. MN3 did have a really good Hanzo in their Soul Derby. Alright, San Francisco Shock coming up playing the Queen. I think once again expecting them to play the Winston. Junbin back into the lineup. But I think they're going to see the Reinhardt and they might run from this.
Is gonna be that Reinhardt.
Are they going to back? Are they going to run or are they just going to fight this?
Defiant and Hydron also just sticking on the Symmetra. So really nice way for them to be able to make these awkward rotations faster and catch San Francisco Shock off guard with those teleporters.
I don't really know what's going on here. Sim, Ryan against Junker Queen, Soldier.
middle. Great option too to set up your turrets. I like that different angle that Speedly's trying to take here too. That Maywall is definitely gonna come out in clutch, but Proper has been a thorn to the side now.
Good TP. But I guess you can't, like, there's literally no one they can land on. Look at them. They just fucking run away so fast. Junbin could be the most isolatable target.
Just as immediately, Shock were able to answer.
Yeah, Junbin is the most isolatable target. Oh, speed?
They took way too much damage, and that was
Noob, what's boosting? Boosting is when you intentionally boost someone else's account to a rank that they are not.
I mean, look at this.
So you either boost a new account and then sell it, or you get paid to boost a person's account. They give you their account information and you boost it.
Reinhardt Brawl instead wants to go for the duel
It is a big no-no and is against the terms of service of Activision Blizzard.
from the Shock in this matchup because we're also going to see the Genji Tracer do
And yes, Proper did it in the past. He admitted to doing it in the past, and that's why a lot of it's like one of the worst things you can do in Korean culture. I think you can go to jail to boosting if you're like, obviously you probably wouldn't, but it's like a big deal in Korea to boost, and that's why Proper is not really liked that much in the Korean community.
the Amp Matrix called in from Ultraviolet to clear that space.
I mean, I boost people down, yeah, exactly. You know,
They try to isolate
I boost Jaws on a weekly, but you know, people don't mind that.
trying to pinch him with
Yeah, gotta help a small British boy out every now and then.
Kalush falls incredibly low, and Speedly has that Blizzard at the ready, tossing it right down to his feet here as Proper
So they went Doomfist, Tracer, Genji to deal with this.
supply in this side room. The skirmish is real here, but the picks haven't come out in the way that they were expecting after utilizing that Blizzard.
Oh my god, Vietnam just got murdered.
Shatter as it they get
It's a good shadow by Kalush, yeah. Shocker doing a good job of like making this look good, but the problem is like just look how sustainable this fucking composition is. The brawl. I feel like it's like running uphill when you try and play these dive comps against the Reinhardt.
well, but it doesn't mean that Defiant aren't going to try to
I think Shock keep running off meta comps. I don't know. Like I genuinely don't know why it feels like they just refuse to play the meta. Like theoretically, Shock should be good at a Winston Tracer Sombra comp, right?
back into this one.
He's saying Sombra has been pretty good when we looked at Junbin's supposed to be a great Winston. Like, I just don't understand why they don't play it. Like, they refuse to play the default meta.
We also see just the Sombra Tracer as the big duo here that we need to keep our eyes on.
This is a swap too that I was honestly expecting here after that first fight.
Junbin's dead. Junbin just fucking dies.
The Genji, the blade coming in. That's gonna be an up Hydron's alley as he finds Ultraviolet, isn't isolated.
Yeah, he's saying he's got to get off. He's saying has to get off Genji now. Now he's going up against Winston Tracer Sombra. Genji just so bad.
Also trying to help him out.
Speedily going kind of crazy. Speedily's actually had a good Tracer game here.
Other side, Shock had saying now to make the swap over to the Sombra, so we're gonna see that matched up against the Defiant composition here too. You see,
Yeah, exactly. Drip NC, right? Like the people who actually get fined big money and go to jail are the people who are running like boosting rings and stuff like that, not the average Joe who's boosting, right?
down here too. The healing didn't come in just in time from Finn, unfortunately, after he was able.
So it's kind of like drug dealers, you know? It depends on how big of a drug dealer you are. Boosting is equivalent to drug dealing. Okay, there we go. We've solved the story and how to explain it. You know, you're not gonna go to jail with just a little bit, but if you got a lot of it and you do a lot of it and there's a lot of money moving hands, yeah, there you go. Yeah, off to jail. Okay, boom, solved. I was gonna say Prob was a dog driller, but that's not okay. let's not try and get that out of context.
Pushing in the aggressive over this next quarter, trying to find an isolated Dame as he gets away. Finn gets called up from high.
Yeah, this video is getting demonetized. We're in trouble.
Dame being alive.
What just happened on my screen? Let's go back and watch this fight. This is a chaotic fight.
Feely's also just looking for an opportunity to let this pulse bomb rip. Kind of waiting for these cooldowns to go.
Pulse bomb goes wide. Hydron has an EMP. Beat. Finn's got the rush.
Ultraviolet now calling in the rush too.
Good beat.
Bit of pop into
Into the rush. Just trying to get through it.
over this
Hydron gets the EMP.
isolated Dame as he gets away. Finn gets called up from Hydron.
Beat comes out.
By Keysang and Finn.
EMP takes off a lot of... Wait.
Sound barrier who's also got hacked by Keysang and Finn. Dame being
EMP doesn't clear sound barrier anymore? Or does it just look different on the UI?
gets called up from
Does it just slowly do it on the UI? Look at this EMP. It hits the 3 people in the top left for the San Francisco Shock. And it removes most of their over health, but not all of it from... Oh, it just does damage now? Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I thought it just cleared all the health still. Oh. Huh. Well, okay, there you go.
able to pop the sound barrier.
It's just to me. I still thought it cleared over health.
Better from Hydron.
Huh.
He found 4 there costing Finn Dame's life, and he's
Today I learned.
low now. Shock out the reset.
Toronto lost to Moira. Oh, God. Don't say it ain't so. Yeah, that was a good fight.
Absolutely huge. You're gonna see
Dude, Shock, is Moira Finn's best hero?
coming back in from the shop.
Do we need to start having this conversation of that Finn's the best Moira in the Overwatch League?
Into that
Oh, how,
Defiant here.
they got the cap for that.
That checkpoint was just right in front of Defiant's face. And
Custa here still saving beats. Honestly, man, I've been saving beats trying to dodge EMPs, which is still good, right? Obviously, especially with your overhealth, it's going to remove 40% of your overhealth.
Jumping just jumps in.
Fielder, that's true. Fielder probably clears.
He cut him off.
Jumbin Primal
Blocking him
did a good job.
having
Honestly, being disruptive.
Other exit to jump right back with the rest of Shock. Keysang gets taken down as well. The collusion able to leap right on top of him. OG's getting close to that.
Jumbin's just constantly in the air. Yeah. Oh.
Hey, Greenecker, just that
Trey Tanks.
come out after Finn also made that swap in that previous fight to the Moira now, and Proper does get that pick onto Kaluj. They're just trickling in here as Defiant still have that control over the buy.
Defiant are still going to be able to make some progress here, especially when they're just continuing to push their advantage. We're under the half-minute mark here on push, which means that when the team that's ahead can really just fight to keep.
Oh, that's a pretty good EMP.
All they need to do is try to keep
No follow-up, though. Good late beat by OG. Saves through the pulse bomb.
Right now.
Junbin goes down.
Being out of that line of sight of
Finn's not going to rip this, right? There's no way.
she had the sound
Yeah, I think's better.
Defiant in this,
How did Toronto lose this map, chat?
trying to find
I remember watching this, but I don't remember how did Toronto fumble this?
Dame has that sound barrier. Proper finishes off Speedly because he was literally 1 now, but Defiant still in control after that previous fight. They
Oh, they are going to rush this.
rushed out comes
Let me trade for Cole. Oh, dodges the EMP with the Cole. Oh, yeah. Moira buffs, baby.
the sound barrier from the rest of Shock.
That was not a good EMP because of that. They do trade the sound barrier, honestly. This is a fine fight, I think, to lose if you're Toronto. Clues should not primal, though.
I don't know what's happening right now. There's fights.
Negro, I don't know what's happening. This is actually very hard to watch. I actually, for these kind of fights, I really wish we took more overhead views because it's actually a lot easier to track when you're looking from an overhead view and you can see everyone rooting around. Doing this from like a first-person tracer perspective is like impossible to understand what's going on in your fucking screen.
Into this one with any advantage possible. They finally win this team fight, but that was a minute.
Do you have overhead view as a caster? No.
Where you have the Defiant being able to come back in with a
We can have that. Like, we got asked if we want that, but I don't like using an overhead view when I cast because I like casting off of what the viewer can see. because I don't want to be talking about things that the viewer can't see. So if I'm looking at an overhead model, I might be like considering and talking about things that aren't on the screen that the viewer can see. So I'd rather try and interpret it from that perspective, if that makes sense. Why not both? Because it's pretty hard to look at two screens at once. Obviously, you could like if you had both, and you could have both, then it's nice. But realistically, I wouldn't use the overhead that much. This is a bad fight for the Shock to lose, for the Toronto to lose. Because now Shock are coming up to like the coalescence and the sound barrier.
Sound barrier is going to be so important, though. When you look at the amount of damage output from either team, the sound barriers are going to be super key. We've got 2 minutes left. San Francisco Shock need to win this team fight here. We've got the Death Blossom. They've got 4.
Oh, nice beat. I was worried that beat wasn't going to hit people because of the bubble, but the Cole is just such a good ultimate here. Oh no, I remember this. I remember how this Toronto Defiant loses. They make one of the worst macro decisions I've seen. Is this the situation I remember?
The bot is going to start to round that corner, but not before the Defiant are able to get one last contestant.
Oh god.
Before we see the Shock meet their progress. Gotta hit this checkpoint though, and Vicky, this could be last fight.
So all they have to do here is, if you're the Toronto Defiant, you need to stop them from getting the checkpoint. Like, they're in this fight, right? Like, look at how long they're in this fight. They have 5 players. All 5 of them are standing around here, right? You don't want them to get this checkpoint. Even though they're a little bit past the checkpoint, if you let them get this checkpoint, they don't have to do anything in the next fight. They just need to win the next fight.
Gotta hit this checkpoint though, and Vicky, this could be last fight. If Defiant win it here, they could just win the map outright and the series.
Minute on board, 10
So they get the butt scratch. They don't stop the checkpoint.
seconds left for that 1 minute. Yeah, the EMP's gonna
They get it. See? They're contesting and they're in this fight, but they don't stop the checkpoint going here. So because they get this checkpoint, the butt scratch mode has already initiated. So therefore, Shock are already getting advantage because this is happening. So they've decided not to throw the EMP, not to throw the pulse bomb, not to throw any of their ultimates when they know they don't have support ultimates, and just give them the checkpoint. And I don't really know what they were waiting for. Like, well, I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, there's stuff going on. He didn't get forced to recall. At this point, a dive needs to go through, right? You don't want them to take this checkpoint. You want to be contested. You want to do all that kind of stuff. But then they give up the checkpoint, and then they're like still getting pressured to this stuff. And then they force an EMP, which gets Junbin, right? Which is like, okay, that's good, right? Yeah, it's a pretty good fight. I think they go on to win this one. But now what happens is Shock only need to win one fight to win it, because they gave away the checkpoint. If they did that 5 seconds earlier, how long is the butt scratch? It's like 5 seconds, 6 seconds. So it's like enough for you guys to get back. But if they did that, then there would be like a checkpoint in the thing, and that would give Toronto more time. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just go earlier. Like, you could have gone earlier to stop that checkpoint from going, to give you that advantage. And now that they have a fight, look, we're in one fight territory. If Toronto lose this fight, they lose the thing. And also, because they took so long to lose that fight, San Francisco Shock have gotten every single ultimate back up.
They still are able to keep the lead at the moment, and they still have the Primal Rage, which could buy them time to get the sound barrier online for the rest of the ultimate.
Then the sound barrier goes out, Ultraviolet dies, proper from Kalush Primals. I genuinely think this was just like panic from Toronto, of like things just kind of fell apart. Like, this should have been their map. Yeah, like obviously they could have still lost anyway, but now all of a sudden with less time over, boom, Shock just insta-cap. It might not have mattered in the grand scheme of things, right? But that still just seems like they didn't put themselves in the best position to succeed. So I don't know, that felt like a weird one from me. I didn't really understand that. I think it definitely would have mattered. Yeah, it definitely could have been anything. So, you know, shit happens. Hopefully they go back and they learn from that mistake. But I know if I was a coach in the back room, I would be screaming at my monitor. Angie with the 3 gifted subs. Angie, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Congrats to everyone who got one. Phoenix Kona, thank you for the 7 months as well. Love your reviews. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. It actually didn't say good work. It said just keep up the work. But I put good in there because I feel like I'm just going to pat myself on the shoulder. Keep doing the work. It's not good, but you know, I appreciate it.
Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
Can we call it a C9? It's kind of hard to know, right? Like, I wish I just sort of understood what the point there.
The survivability of Proper on that last map. Now, can that momentum carry over?
2 maps are lost because you walked up the point. Yeah, kind of, right? Like, and this is why, like, Toronto should have beaten the San Francisco Shock, right? From what we're looking at right now, Toronto probably should have won that's the sub labs, like sub ground, sub zero, whatever the fuck that one is, underground one, and they should have won the first map. There, I think less so New Queen Street. I think Shock were already making a comeback, and I think that wasn't like a big choke that like, oh, if they'd done that, they 100% would have won. But I think it was a pretty major mistake once again for Toronto in the macro of like what they're doing. So, but I think Toronto were the better team in this series.
I feel like we've seen just
At least so far. You know, we'll watch map 5.
come out from the Shock, but this is
Is there any reason you can think of to save EMP? Well, that's the thing. They didn't even save the EMP, right? Like, they used the EMP directly after giving them the checkpoint, right? So it's not like they... I wonder if they were like, let's stall for last fight, but that doesn't make sense. There was so much time on the clock. I don't know. Now, oh, yeah, Hydron has a bad map on Sombra. I remember this. This is a map that Hydron would like to forget on the Sombra, which is unfortunate because I actually have liked his Sombra so far in this series. I think his Sombra's been solid. I'm not gonna say it's lip level, but I think it was fine in this series. So giving checkpoint is fast as born. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point as well. OG gets Finn. It's a good first fight. Oh my god, I thought Hydra was just gonna rando die.
Snipe was good because it did allow for the Shock to take advantage of the high ground, but then you saw a nice rotation from the Defiant.
Shock is so low. Toronto need to clean up. Finn goes over to the Kiriko. I think you might need Ultraviolet to go over to the Kiriko here as well. I think Ana's can be quite difficult to play here. We're proper.
Yeah, Proper just needs to go for a reset there. You can't allow yourself to get staggered when every single team fight counts here. This is it. This is the final map of the series.
No, I'm not planning on reviewing a Dallas game.
Shields of that card. To be able to get that reset here, like you mentioned, Neck already 23% and climbing for the Defiant as Heesang's trying to get into position, playing into that win con with that EMP. Proper does get hacked. Hydra and Speedly have been able to nail down Proper a lot more consistently. Trying to help out OG and Ultraviolet, but before that, Proper still able to find OG. Ultraviolet's gonna have the nano boost here, but the Shock waltz right in on top of that. Still able.
What happened? How did OG die? Sorry, I zoned out for a second there. I think he just got chased down. I feel like that was way too easy of a team fight for Shock to win. I don't really know what happened. It kind of just felt like Shock walked in and just sort of took over. But honestly, with Toronto's coaching staff, I don't really doubt that everything will be tightened up a lot in the next week. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I'm not really worried about Toronto. Like, they could go 0-4 because don't they have like a really hard schedule. Who are the next 2 matches against? Don't they have like Florida and Atlanta or some shit? Like, or Houston and Florida or something? They have NYXL? Oh, really? Okay. I might be thinking of a different team. NYXL and Florida. Okay. I think I was thinking of a different team that had like a really hard schedule. Oh, no, it was Glads that had a hard schedule. But yeah, Toronto's had a hard first schedule, and I don't think you can be super upset about going 0-2, but I think they'd be kicking themselves that they lost this one. Junbin goes down for like what feels like free there as well. Should be complaining with Glads. Yeah, and I think they will. I think they will compete with Glads in Florida, right? It's a pretty good play by Hydron, honestly. Right, like, this is the difference, right? Like, Shocker recognized that they just need to contest the point. They need to apply pressure. Junbin's happy to drop this Primal because they know they have the ultimates coming back, right? Just stays alive. Honestly, Junbin does a great job on Winston. I wish he would play it more. Sound barrier goes out by Vindem. Actually gets split by Kaluj. That bubble by Kaluj actually gets Junbin killed because Junbin doesn't get the beat. That was actually a huge heads-up play by Kaluj. Oh. Bloop. Okay, but you know, Shock gets what? Shock got another 20% for that, 30% for that stall. They trade like a ton of ultimates. That was that nano beat, all that kind of stuff. They trade a bunch of ults. You know, but even the Max Winston, honestly, the Max Winston was fine. I just want them to just play normal shit. Oh, yeah, like, what happens to Hydron here? Can we get any more context of what's happening here? No, Hydron just kind of falls over.
And Hydron's down already. Then leaves Heesang with a huge opportunity to get this EMP online and just finish off this first round.
He already has it ready here too. Just trying to find where OG and Ultraviolet is. They already know that they use up.
Okay, so now this is Toronto's turn to do the same kind of stall, and that's just a great EMP, right? Like, they recognize that they're going to try and pressure and stall. The EMP just takes down Cluj. You want to clean this up as quickly as possible. Toronto has Vegas, NY, Valiant, all this stage. Oh, really? So they got a much easier games as the series goes on. Which, you know, that means that they'll probably make it to the knockouts, right? And I think if you make it, like, at this point in Toronto going on to in the opening weekend, you're not going to finish top 2 in NA. So at this point, you're just trying to qualify for the knockouts and then go from there.
Just be able to try to pull the team back to point, and that gives Defiant an opportunity to come back into this.
Yeah, Hydron goes down again. Like, obviously, we can't really see it on broadcast. It seems like they sort of caught him. They must have got his Translocator and then got him out of stealth. But yeah, losing Hydron there is so bad. Because now it comes kind of like desperation mode for the Toronto to try and hold on. Oh, OG gets Heesang. How many teams qualify for knockouts? There's going to be I believe it's 6 teams in the mid-season madness. 2 automatically qualify from NA, and then there's a knockout stage where I think another 2 from NA qualify. If that's what I remember reading or hearing. And then there's 2 teams from APAC will go through the Eastern region qualifiers. OG gets June, but honestly, Toronto are doing a good job of like stalling out this point, staying alive. Wow, honestly, crazy play by Toronto to be able to hold on to that fight. But there's another fight. That's kind of the issue. That cost them EMP sound barrier. Now Shocker pretty much coming back with the same thing. Good beat. Cluj has to trade Primal for it. Heesang's coming up with EMP. Heesang's EMP is really the defining factor of what's going to win. Oh, yeah, it's a good EMP. It just murders 2 people. Honestly, I really like Heesang Sombra, bro. Like, I just really hope they play this Winston Tracer Sombra shit. Like, I just hope this weekend we come back and they're like, you know what? We've thought about our actions and we're just going to play Winston Tracer Sombra everywhere. Thank you for the 11 months Tempest News. And just tune in, what's up? Hey, we're watching some disappointment from the Toronto squad. Why do you think it is Shock just playing? I don't know. As I said, I don't know how to answer why it feels like they're just playing a lot of random stuff. Both teams are disappointing. Yeah, I feel like Toronto should have closed this out. Like, I really think Toronto should have closed this out. I'm just here for some good Overwatch. Yeah, honestly, like, this match was entertaining by absolutely. It was definitely not flawless Overwatch by any means, but it was entertaining, that's for sure. Toronto had just been really dying on this Reinhardt heal as well, which I don't like. I don't really like this Reinhardt look. But it looks like Shock were ready for this. Coming out on Genji Reaper is like, literally feels like they've countercomped them. Like, Genji Reaper are both really good against this. Oh god, Heesang just dies. Like, what is Shock doing? Dude, Junbin has 19% ult charge. Like, why isn't Junbin, like, holding a choke? Like, why isn't Junbin, like, here? Like, doing anything? He's just, like... He just doesn't go anywhere. Is he just shooting right clicks the entire time? And then, like, they just, like, walk out and he doesn't go again. He just jumps up, drops the bubble, and then Heesang's like, oh, okay, we're running.
Somebody with the Fae, and they find Heesang.
And that's why the Shock weren't trying to fully commit. They just wanted the high
Like, I
ground,
don't...
too. They saw Speedily being on this main
Sniper monkey.
Heesang as he makes that swap over to the Sojourner
Fingers Anna, I think is the right play.
too, as front of Finn.
Heesang.
Is gonna be able to
Soj, okay.
blade from coming in from
He left the Discord.
they want to rely on.
The Nano Blade is going to be really impactful here, yes, but you're also looking at Ultraviolet's Batiste as a way to kind of stave that off. The Immortality Field will buy some time here for the Defiant to work around that, but also if you're able to get these picks
Good
off
heals by
right,
Finn.
I think you prefer that too.
Oh.
Oh, Finn having to
Yeah, Finn did a great job of getting heals up there. That was so smart. Like, they literally just forced Toronto onto the ground, and then Finn hits an enormous bio nade to close that out. Yeah, that was like Shock were good to stay alive from that on that initial dive, and then Toronto just fell off the high ground. I feel like they just sort of all ended up on the ground, and Shock just took the high ground, and then boom, dead from there. And this gets really hard. Like, I don't like this Ryan comp especially once ultimates come up. Like, how do you deal with this pressure from the Shock? Because they're probably just going to be able to trade aggression. I don't really like the Kiriko coming up from Ultraviolet here as well.
Wants to go for something
I
like
feel like you're not going to have enough healing to heal everyone on this team. I don't know. That's just my take. I feel like Kiriko does good single target heals, but I don't think it has good emergency healing. That's why I kind of like the Ana or the Baptiste, especially with the AoE for it.
cheeky head angles too, just in case.
Yeah, I like the Nano Winston. Now you're just zip zapping, right?
Jumping who leaps right on top of there.
Gets frozen. Oh, dude, Jinbin gets the business. He gets frozen, shattered, primals, and then just goes. Like, he actually got the main tank treatment and lived to tell the tale.
Raid boss on the high ground. The fact that he stayed alive for so long, you gotta give that credit.
Like, that was good play. Dude, Junbin just needs to play more Mercy. Dude, Junbin Mercy is good. Like, I don't know why they just don't play it.
Proper clear
Just play it.
no rest on the side.
That was good play.
Picking up the Defiant in another team fight.
well, that was the Nano Blade you were looking
Winston, Junbin Mercy. Yo, Junbin.
at a chance against that, especially when
Right, sorry, I took a whiff of the crusty crack pie for a second there. One second. Yo, I meant Junbin Winston. You know, maybe in an alternative universe, Junbin Mercy. Let's cook a little bit. Let's cook a little bit.
they want to be able to close this
Great take, Custa.
from being able to secure this map
Definitely demonetized now.
win, and they have a lot to do with it. Let's see what he's thinking gets done with the Sojourn.
It's been so close so far. Ultraviolet has a Kitsune rush now. Comes out the damage on Speedly that you want to look.
All right, that's you accept that that's over if you're.
Him down. The immediate disengage now from the Shock while they clean up the rest of the team as Proper is on the other side. But Dame needs to back away. And
All right, now you're the Shock. You got to win one fight.
95%.
And this is sort of it. Like, and this is sort of what I was saying, where I feel like everyone's defaulting back to the Winston Tracer Sombra. Like, I feel like every time a team plays like Junker Queen or plays Ramatra or plays Reinhardt, like, you know, Shock played like Reaper Sojin to start again. Everyone just always comes full circle back to Winston Tracer Sombra. Doesn't matter what happens, and every single map, everyone just ends up playing Winston Tracer Sombra. People should just play Winston Tracer Sombra.
Overwatch 2, and that will leave, he's saying 30%.
People are saying this open meta is a bait. It's first week. It's always going to be open, but now that everyone's seen what everybody else has played, I think you're going to see I think this weekend you're going to see like 80% Winston Tracer Sombra.
Not what you want to see to open up this fight here too, especially since you want to
No, it's boring. I'm sorry. It ain't about if it's interesting or if it's boring, right?
up here
It's about what's good.
who's coming in as John Van's gonna
Yeah, the Junker Queen counter could work. I think that's the like one that I think you could like potentially get to work, but I think that's a dangerous thing. Of it might stop working very quick.
Soundberry comes in from Defiant.
And you get Vindime.
Territory Necra and the Shock right
Was that a beat engage actually? Sorry, 1 second. Go back. Yeah, so beat engage by OG. So Speedily goes down to Finn.
continues to harass that back line.
And they just beat engage, realizing that they gotta go. I don't know if that was really necessary. It does kill Vindime though.
Territory Necra and
And gets Finn. I honestly, you know, can't argue with the results.
both of their back lines now
Oh, but OG gets got. They lose the Translocator.
trying to take control.
Good to see Defiant try to keep contesting.
Hydron needs the EMP. Yeah, he's. I don't know if Hydron realized he lost his Translocator in that fight. Oh, Junbin gets out.
Back into this one.
Honestly, that's fine if you're Junbin, right? Like Kalush had to primal to kill Junbin. Like that, you take that.
Die for nothing.
Sound barrier comes out from Vindime.
He Proper still staying alive. Here
Oh,
comes
good stick.
the overtime ticking away. And Proper still alive is an issue. When Proper wakes up, you know
Oh, the EMP. The Finn Moira. The greatest Moira.
They lose out on Speedly. Hydra's about to meet them back
That's actually kind of surprising that Shock ended up winning that fight. They just came back.
to the point. As the San
Wait, Toronto choked? I wouldn't say it was a choke. It's kind of like the Soul Derby thing that we talked about of like, I don't know if it's exactly that one team choked. I think it's one team just clutched up. And I think San Francisco Shock clutched. I think Toronto once again got a little out of sorts towards the end. Maybe that's something they need to work out as a team. Like when the high tense, high pressure moments, it felt like they just didn't perform in the same way. And they made mistakes, right? Not massive gargantuan mistakes or big C9s, massive fumbles, just like little things just like going by the wayside, people making mini mistakes and stuff like that. So I don't know. I genuinely, I think Toronto you can make the argument that the Toronto were the better team in that series, but Shock were clutch. And I think Shock looked good when they played this Winston comp. Junbin, please, I beg of you, play Winston more. It's good. Yeah, Hydron definitely got caught a lot on that Sombra towards the end. In that final map, Hydron really struggled on that Sombra to just stay alive, and he got picked first a lot, so you hate to see it. But that's the VOD review. San Francisco Shock versus Toronto Defiant. I think both teams have interesting storylines as they try and stay in this top tier, but they need to start getting consistent wins against top teams. Are the San Francisco Shock going to be able to compete with, your Floridas, your Houstons, your Atlantas? And can Toronto just start getting wins under their belt? Obviously, a rough 0-2 opening weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you all, and I will see you guys next time.